So I have a question for you. Does anyone remember what the first rule of Fight Club is?
We don't talk about Fight Club.
Don't talk about Fight Club. Well, Flow Club has got 2 rules. And the first rule is, tell everybody about flow. Because this is no secret. We wouldn't want to keep this a secret. And hopefully by the end of this evening, you'll feel confident enough to tell all your friends, family, co-workers about this fantastic state of being. The second rule is that if you're going to talk about flow, you have to be able to pronounce the name of the modern day founder of the science of flow. Now, some of you know this gentleman's name, and I would ask you not to say anything. And for those of you who've never heard of this guy and wouldn't have a clue how to pronounce his name, we're going to put it up here right now. And so anyone who hasn't seen this name before, would you have a go at pronouncing it? Just shout it out, it's okay. That sounds good. Any others? Yeah, that's getting close. So his name is Mihai Csikszentmihalyi. Mihai Csikszentmihalyi. So can we repeat that? Mihai Csikszentmihalyi. One more time. Mihai Csikszentmihalyi. You are all inducted into Flow Club. Thank you. So what does flow feel like? What is this thing we're talking about? Well, in flow, we're highly focused. We're super creative. Our mental acuity is operating at its highest level, and yet it's an effortless state. The inner critic is totally knocked out. The me that I think is me, that ego is gone as I merge with the activities or actions that I'm doing, engulfed in the moment. The world as I know it changes. Time distorts. I feel my best and I perform at my best. Who doesn't want to be in that beautiful state? And you know what the next piece of good news is? Flow is an equal opportunity employer. You don't have to be 5'5". Doesn't matter if you're black or white, male or female, rich or poor. If you're human, you have access to flow. So every single person in this room tonight has access to flow. And by the end of this evening, I hope you realize 2 things. Firstly, that you have been in flow states many times in your life. Now, some people refer to it as being in the zone. Some athletes do. So we're going to call it flow, but you can think zone, whatever other terminology you may have. And the second thing is that there is a flow cycle. And we're going to talk about that a number of times, and we're going to give certain examples, because finding and looking for that flow cycle in your life is where you're going to find flow. Now, you may legitimately be asking yourself, well, if this is such a fantastic state of being, how come I've never heard of it? Now, most of you, I don't think almost anyone except me, put their hand up. Beata, where were you? When Trevor asked, who knows anything about flow? So what is it about this? Was it some big secret? Well, let me tell you that there is a technology company in America, maybe the biggest in the world, certainly the best funded, that has put millions upon millions of dollars into the study of flow, and has their specific executives, their top people, trained into flow so that they can operate at this optimal level. Does anyone know who this technology company is?
IBM.
Google? No. IBM? No. Apple? No. DARPA. The Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. Yes, it's the US military. They have put a ton of resources into, what happened there? Oh, this came up. Into the flow. And don't take my word for it. This is what I Googled tonight, and I took a screenshot. Flow Navy SEALs. SEAL Fit. How to get yourself into a flow state. So the optimal performers in the entire US military, the Navy SEALs and the other special forces, are all being honed in flow. So this is not some fanciful notion that Trevor, Beata, Patrick and I dreamt up. This is for real. So this evening we're going to take you through the following. Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, you all remember that name, he determined there were 17 flow triggers. Well, they don't all appear at the same time, but often you would have 3 or 4, and we're going to discuss those, because that is where we set up for flow. But there's also blocks. There's things that we do every day that block us from flow. So we want to be aware of that. Then we're going to go into this flow cycle, where we see it starts with a challenge, we go through release, flow, and then the important area of recovery. So we'll discuss that, and we'll give many examples, so don't worry if you don't get it the first time round. Then as we head into the break, Trevor's going to have some homework for you. Ah, darn it, but you get a free ride. And then after the break, we're going to talk about what you discussed during the break. I will then take you through how to hack into your flow. How do you get into a flow state? And Beata is going to finish off with raising our self-awareness. Because if we're not self-aware, we don't notice the triggers and the blocks in our everyday life. And those triggers foster our access to flow. And those blocks are going to keep us from it. So without further ado, we're going to dive right in. I'm going to introduce Beata, who's going to take us through the first part of the flow cycle, the challenge phase.